Hi, my name is Dante Ford, and my presentation is on the keyword gender. And I chose gender because it's a really interesting topic, and I think it plays a lot in today's society, and it can also help with people being who they are and expressing how they feel in their lives. And yeah, we're gonna go on with the presentation. So, starting off, we're going to talk about the agenda. First, I'm going to talk about what is gender in cultural studies and a basic definition of it. Then we're going to move on to the power dynamics and how in different cultures, based on your gender, what you can and can't do, what is given to you, how you're seen in society. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the cultural impact, finishing off, and how gender is something that should be important to the study of cultural studies and how it impacts everyone's behaviors in society today. Alright, we're gonna talk about the basic definition of gender, and it's basically reduced to what you are biologically. So, what you come out with at birth is the gender that you are categorized. And the basic definition only has two categories, male or female, which doesn't really anticipate for how people really feel or how they don't feel like they're in the right body than what they want to express themselves as. But in reality, you want to look at gender based on the social and cultural complexity it is. It can be based on the definitions of femininity and masculinity, the division of labor, and the reproductive roles of the person. And this perspective allows us to examine gender through a variety of lenses, focusing on the relevance it has in the culture of the people, than treating it as just a sexual role determining base. And it also helps us understand the other genders that can be presented in today's world and in other cultures around us. In other cultures around the world, they have integrated more than two genders, like in the story of the two spirits with Fred Martinez, who was not a boy who wanted to be a girl, but both a boy and a girl. And then we also have in Mahu in native Hawaiian culture how that spirit embodies both male and female and is traditionally respected. It shows us the shift from how gender is growing from just two categories and is taking shape around the cultures, around the identity and role that people have in that society. There is no way to condense gender into two categories where many indigenous tribes have the term third gender that have both man and woman in their construction, and that third gender people are seen as the embodiment of both genders in a diverse way where gender is basically the framework of understanding social behavior and individual roles within society for cultural studies, where gender is basically difference in personalities and based on behaviors in social role theories. So gender can't be shrunk down into these two categories. Power dynamics do play a role in gender, with in some families, like in northern India, they place a greater value on boys' education than the girls' education because he will remain part of the family after marriage. Also, in the workforce, men are typically in higher positions than women in the workforce. Then in other cultures, it is seen that higher parental authority is for predominantly males, and inheritance rule in favor of the male, while women are seen as the home caretakers and have less freedom. For the cultural impact of gender, it is not only important to cultural studies, but it is important to the social constructs that we have in this society. It provides the reasoning necessary for understanding the behavior and the movement of people in our world. This framework is what makes us us. It understands who we are. Gender is not something that can be broken down into two categories. It is a multi-layer framework of the person you see. It plays an important role to their livelihood. Overall, the keyword of gender holds a lot of power on everyone in society and drives their behavior, whether they know it or not. Thank you for listening to my presentation on gender. Have a nice day.